Tottenham, what can I say about Tottenham? Tottenham are being Tottenham, obviously. Tottenham are being Tottenham. Flop. I mean, I feel they tried to come back.
Yeah.
But I feel like top 4 for Tottenham is not in the works for them because it always happens with Tottenham. Same thing. Firstly, okay, let's go back to the game against Brentford. They conceded 2 goals. Right?
Sure.
And then they came back, fair. But my chat is when they play teams like CET, they play teams like Arsenal, they play teams like United, they won't be able to come back. Like the same way that they come back against Brentford, they won't be able to do those comebacks against elite teams in the Premier League. So for me, the chat with Tottenham is they're in top 4 right now, but behind them is United with the game in hand. So United play today, but they have a game in hand. So after today, they'll still have a game in hand to Tottenham.
Yeah.
So United win that game in hand. They're in top 4.
I'm with you, though. I also think that for Tottenham is tried, though. Because, like, the way they got played out the park by United the time when they were at Trafford.
Facts.
It's like every time when they play a big team, they get played out the park. They always think of the place like Tottenham always does. So, yeah, I feel like, it's tried, though. But on that Brentford game, let's talk about Tony, though. How Tony is so influential to that Brentford team. He's like, him.
I feel like, Tony, I mean, we've been knowing that Tony, because they were like, can Tony do it in the Premier League?
Facts.
First 6 months before the World Cup, it wasn't even 6 months, but before the World Cup, Tony came in, he proved that he can play Premier League. Listen. So Tony, I feel like since maybe 3 months ago, we've been knowing that Tony him. So even yesterday, for him scoring yesterday wasn't a surprise to me because I feel like even if you had to put money on Tony to score, you say Tony would score a goal. But for me, Brentford surprise. I wouldn't say the surprise, but Tony number 1 key player, but the second player for me is Thingy. Mbeumo.
Oh, yeah.
When I see Mbeumo play...
Cameroon LeBron.
When I see Mbeumo play for Brentford, that nigga, even though he's not scoring, scores then and there, maybe ends the season with like 7 goals. Assists also maybe 7. But when you see his impact on the game, he allows Tony to be Tony.
Oh, yeah.
You see, that's why I say, with Tony's situation, Mbeumo is not there. You could say maybe Tony's goals go down. I wouldn't say drastically, but maybe let's say he ends the season now with 20. Without Mbeumo, for me, he would end the season with like 15.
Oh, yeah.
He ends the season with 15 goals. So that's my chat with that, man. But Tony lit, man. I feel like whether they snapped him World Cup, he was snapped, and they took Wilson. Wilson didn't jack.
Nothing.
Wilson did jack shit at World Cup. So I feel like Tony's the dude, man. There's no doubt in Tony. Kane, on the other hand, was leave Tottenham. Kane was right, though.
Kane's at the wrong team, though.
Kane was right.
Kane's at the wrong team. He should have gone CT the time he wanted him to go CT.
Facts. Kane flopped. He flopped. It's not vying to CT, like you said, but he should have left. When was it? I think it was 2 seasons. The season after Poch.
What was this guy? Nuno's season.
When Nuno came in, because Poch led them to second place and then took them to Champions League final, and then after the season when they fired Poch, Kane should have left. Could have gone City.
I hear your chat.
But then it comes Haaland, really. When you see Haaland Kane, Haaland is younger. Obviously, I'm gonna buy Haaland.
Yeah, I hear it.
So Kane is tried for me. I mean, which other team can he vie to?
Probably United, because they're looking for a striker, and he fits Ten Hag ball, but he's too old. I don't think he's 29, and I think he probably has a good 3 years left at his peak. We can say, unless he's eating right and doing everything right, where he can stretch his career until like 38, 37. I think like he has like 3 years left at his peak with his ankle injuries. So I wouldn't say United must sign him. They should get a player like him though to play up front, maybe like him, or get an orthodox number 9. But like right now, it's probably over for Kane unless he goes Bayern,
You see,
or it goes Barca, it goes Real Madrid. But right now, it seems like he's going to die Tottenham legend.
I feel like he's gonna die Tottenham legend. Dog. Tottenham either gonna get new owners because they also have an owner situation. So if they get new owners, it's probably gonna be oil money. Yeah? So if it's oil money, then they're gonna give Kane money. So give Kane his 500,000 a week, demands Kane team, and then they're probably gonna try build a team up because you see Newcastle now. So it's a perfect segue to go into Newcastle. So Newcastle, they won yesterday 3-0 against Leicester. Leicester, which by the way, Nyash.
Dog, Leicester's just in turmoil.
So you see Newcastle. Newcastle got new owners. They got a new coach, Eddie Howe, which I said Arsenal must get. Before Arsenal got Arteta, I said they must sign Eddie Howe, but it's Arsenal, so they don't listen. And then they got new owners, new coach. They not really new players. Only new player they got was Guimaraes.
It's Guimaraes. Yeah, they got Sven Botman.
Okay, Botman, Guimaraes, Pope, Trippier. That's 4. Up top, Wood. Chris Wood,
but he's injured.
Isaac injured. So
Chris Wood, yeah.
And when you look at Newcastle, the players that they got, the only world class player I can say is world class there, or could become world class. Guimaraes. World class. Trippier, you'd say. Yeah.
Trippier is past. He's now just living. He's now past.
Yeah.
He's just living. He's just here now.
You see,
there's no peak to go.
Yeah. So Trippier was world class, or still is, or maybe is at his peak. He's gonna dip soon, and then. Yeah, that's about it. Botman has a bright future.
Botman has potential to be something.
But the rest, dog, Almiron, we're only seeing his talent now.
Almiron been nice. It's just because I think Almiron had to play in a front forward team, a team that plays front forward, attacking football, not defensive football, because they always valued him for his pace, but he's more than just the pace. He can dribble, he can score. You saw in MLS, he scored a lot of goals because he played in a team that was like attacking. So now he comes to Newcastle, they're defending all the time, so we never get to see Almiron's true talent. So I guess Almiron, he's probably one player that will surprise people. He'll be like a 10 goal, 11, 12 goal per season type player. But like,
and I agree.
He'll have more assists, more chances created, more goals scored, because now the teams are attacking more and now they are playing to his talents.
You see. And I agree, because like Newcastle now are second in the Premier League after yesterday's win, number 2 in the Premier League, and they're playing with players that are not really top 4 type players. You see, striker Wilson, Wood,
and football always like gets to even out at the end. So they might just fall off, maybe finish 6th, 7th.
So now, if they finish 6th, they finish 7th. But now players have seen that, but the owners will be like, okay, we believe in this nigga. Who's this nigga?
Eddie Howe.
They'll be like, we believe in Eddie Howe. So they're going to guy him money to buy top 4 type players. So when they give nigga money to buy top 4 type players, now Newcastle can attract, let's see who's an upcoming player. Plus they can even give niggas gang wages.
They wanted Madison. See, maybe because of Leicester's situation, they can get Madison. Tillemans is out of contract end of the season, so they get Tillemans. Then they could get like João Felix is crying at Atletico. They can try entice João. They can actually do damage, because now they'll have money to do damage. And maybe where they finish in the league will now convince players that okay, maybe Newcastle is serious. See.
So Newcastle, they're on a nice ride. I feel like it's a human thing. We normally, we see them perform now and we be like, Newcastle are back. But this is like the first 6 months. In the situation. Okay, maybe we can judge previous season, how they finished the season last season, but first 6 months of this season, we like Newcastle would finish top 4. Same thing that happened to, was it Brighton last season? I think it was Brighton last season, or Brighton this season. There was a team last season that started top four,
Top four.
but they finished.
It might have been Brighton.
Yeah, so they finished like 8th.
Like those what you call Sheffield United days.
Yeah,
They were like
top
4 for the longest, but they ended 8th, 9th.
Next season relegated.
Got relegated. Again.
So I feel like we should give Newcastle at least until Feb or March.
We should give them the Arteta years. They gave Arteta time.
Yeah.
Maybe like in 3 years we should talk about Newcastle maybe and see where they at with the project 2 years from now. Like just give them the Arteta time, you know, like how the Gunners would say, trust the process. Maybe we should also, as people, just trust the process and see where the people. Speaking about Arsenal, it was just fantastic yesterday. Yeah.
Second half, I'd give them second half. They were fantastic second half.
Maybe it's because West Ham decided to protect the 1-0 lead and thought that Arsenal are nothing.
Dog, Moyes is whack. Crazy stat about Moyes that you told me yesterday that he has never won at Anfield, not Anfield, at the Emirates.
Away to Arsenal.
He has never won away to Arsenal in his career, and he's been in the Premier League coaching for like over probably 20 years plus now, over 15 years, just to be safe.
Yeah.
You see, and that nigga's never won away to Arsenal. So when they took that 1-0 lead, naturally they were gonna defend because it's a Moyes team, you see. But then you're allowing a team like Arsenal to have more of the ball deeper into your half.
Yeah.
So obviously then there's something Arteta said to those niggas at halftime. Because first half there was playing.
It was like Christmas jitters, you know. That eggnog has to just land a bit, you know. That cake nyana has to land.
Yeah.
And then maybe they had to come out firing.
So when they came out second half, niggas, they played. It's like West Ham. It's like Arsenal were playing they were playing against themselves there.
Yeah, true, fair.
Low key was expressed because it was like goal after goal after goal. They made 3-1. And they're looking like the title contenders this year. I don't want to say it because I'm a United fan, but it's hard to say it. But Arsenal are looking like the title contenders this year.
They look like they got their stuff together, bro. Business right, everything. They look like they're signing the right players in the right position. But I feel like maybe talent-wise, they can fall on the wayside. Maybe because it's their first time going for a title, so they can have Tottenham last type jitters where at the end of the run, they're starting to panic. They don't know what to do. They don't have experience. And maybe a far more experienced team with a far more experienced coach can just come and, you know, take the title away from them. But like them looking like a serious team, they are a serious team.
Yeah. Plus their game in hand is against City, so it's tricky.
Yeah, it's very tricky.
And you know Arsenal I don't think, when last did Arsenal beat City?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
Probably have to find.
Like 5-6 years ago, dog. I don't even know. But under Pep, I don't think Arsenal have ever beaten City.
Yeah.
I could be mistaken, but what I've seen, they're always getting hammered. Even if it's away or home to City, City are always gonna hammer Arsenal over my 4-0. 3 goals plus. That's what it is.
Every time.
3 goals plus. They wax Arsenal. But for Arsenal fans, shout out to you all, man. You're not doing great.
And speaking about ham, which is food. Let's talk about how a big team should come and save Declan Rice, man. I feel like he's in prison at West Ham, dog. Someone should come and pay the bail and bail that guy out, bro.
It's time.
That guy is too nice. He's stuck in a place where I'm like, he won't develop further, dog. He has people like Jude Bellingham passing him now in development. He'll have people rating Mount over him. Because like Rice is just too nice.
Facts.
For that number 8 position, he's just too nice.
Rice peak at West Ham. Like there's nothing he's doing for West Ham anymore. And there's nothing that West Ham is doing for him. Because he's like, when you look at the team at West Ham, he's probably the best player. So, Rice, and then who after that?
Probably Rice, and then you can maybe argue Paqueta, and then maybe you can argue Antonio, which the team is built for Antonio's play style.
But where are we going? Antonio already peaked in like 2018. That's when he had his best season ever. So Antonio is done.
Yeah, probably Rice and Paqueta.
Skamaka, he has not really proven in the Premier League that he can play. You
have Jared Bowen.
Bowen is done. Bowen is a player. I like Bowen. That nigga nice. So that
So it's probably Rice back at that ball and probably Skamaka if Skamaka starts to shoot potential.
out of the whole team. So Verum, Rice must be saved by Chelsea. Go play with his best friend Mount.
They were.
You know, because he was wasting his time at West Ham, though.
Hey, but the quotes, how much they quoting for that guy? That's too much money. But
150 mil.
This oil money maybe can save him. Whoever comes in and pays that
Chelsea
oil.
doesn't have oil money.
Chelsea doesn't have oil money.
And they just signed what's that name? Kunku.
Oh yeah.
Signed Kunku from Leipzig. So money is tight there by Chelsea. Premier League is back. Today we have United.
Today's like United.
V Nottingham, Chelsea, I forgot who Chelsea are playing. Chelsea, Bournemouth, United, Tottenham.
Nottingham. And then tomorrow that robot comes in.
Aye.